It was quiet in the emergency department for a Friday. The med-surg unit was full, so we were holding some patients in the ED. Around 9:30, my CNO called and asked for a breakdown of how many patients, who needed oxygen, and who needed wheelchair or stretcher. "We have to evacuate," she said. I wasn't aware of the situation brewing outside, but I looked out and saw my CNO walking toward the hospital through ankle-deep water. All my life, my greatest fear was being washed away in a flood. Once at Sliding Rock, I flailed around helplessly after the water took my breath. Another time, I was trapped in a vehicle during a flood where the road got washed out. I've had nightmares where I'm tumbling in flooded waters. I'd written this verse on a sticky note. "When you go through deep waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they will not overtake you." For years, I've kept it to remind me that when I'm drowning at work, He is with me. It was on a cabinet in my office. I quickly put together the list of patients. We loaded patients in ambulances, but the waters had already flooded our driveway. While we unloaded everyone back in the ED, swift water rescue teams were deployed. Now the waters were too violent, and there was too much debris to safely evacuate. Our only option was to shelter in place. The water rose, covering our wheelchair-bound patients' feet, and moving fast towards the power outlets. Gary ran to shut down the generators. In darkness, the water rose to our knees. Dr. Sutherland carried 2 patients to the roof, and a few climbed with our assistance. We loaded the rest, including the sickest and those we couldn't carry, into the boats. We could hardly push the stretchers against the current. The water was past our waist now and rising. The boats were secured in the corner by the ambulance bay where an eddy had formed. Emergency crews stayed with those patients. The last of us climbed the aluminum extension ladder to the roof. I surveyed the island our little hospital had become. A house floated by, a container from an 18-wheeler, a truck, huge propane tanks, and enormous trees. Then, empty life jackets that I prayed didn't start out with someone in them. Would helicopters be able to get to us? Would our hospital hold up? We formed a circle, and Keith led us in prayer. I said to him, "You aren't going to believe this, but my biggest fear is all around me, and I'm not afraid. I feel God's presence." As I waited for the helicopters, I thought, all the career choices I've made have brought me to this day, this moment. I was made for such a time as this. After the flood, I had a strong urge to go back to the hospital. I was escorted back into my office, and there was my note. Muddy but legible, God's word survived the flood.